Hello, everybody. I am Elise Solomon, and I'm the Director of Learning and Engagement at the Taft Museum of Art. And thank you for joining us for our next installment of Taft Chats, where Anne Glasscock, the Assistant Curator, and I are going to be talking about our special exhibition, NC Wyeth New Perspectives, over coffee, tea, whatever. Anne, how about you take it away?
Thank you, Elise, and thanks everyone for joining us once again. In case you missed us last Wednesday, we talked about Treasure Island, and we are going to stick with an island theme and talk about Island Funeral of this week, which is also one of Wyeth's more famous paintings. We're also going to look at a work titled Bright and Fair, and we are going to start with that one today. So in 1920, Wyeth purchased a summer home in Port Clyde, Maine, right on the water. He named the house 8 Bells. Wyeth painted several views, but in this striking work, he captures the distinct quality of light on a clear, sparkling day on the Maine coast. When in Maine, Wyeth drew fresh inspiration from the sea and the coastal communities. We can certainly see that inspiration in the next work we are going to look at today, Island Funeral, which Wyeth painted in 1939. So Elise, before we take a deeper dive into this work, do you have any initial thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I, Anne, would agree that Wyeth was best known as a book illustrator, but what his deepest desire was to be known as a fine arts painter. In fact, Island Funeral started out as a illustration commission for a book, but he loved the composition so much that he turned it into one of his fine arts paintings.
Right. It still blows my mind that in the early 20th century, illustrators were seen as different, even inferior to painters. Luckily, the New York gallery owner Robert Macbeth saw Island Funeral as a major achievement of Wyeth's career. Macbeth insisted on his presence in NC's first solo show in 1939. Its purpose was to present him as an artist rather than an illustrator. Now let's look at Island Funeral together. So here we can see that Wyeth used an aerial view to depict people gathering for the funeral of the patriarch of a historic Maine lobstering family. Wyeth was known to have experimented relentlessly with the visual innovations of modernism. So to make this composition seem a little more daring, he captured it from the imagined perspective of either a bird in flight or from someone looking out an airplane window. Wyeth also experimented with vivid color using pigments made from intense blue and green dyes recently developed by the DuPont company in Wilmington, Delaware. So I absolutely love these colors, and I applaud Wyeth's passion to experiment in so many different ways. So on that topic, Elise, have you been inspired to experiment or try anything new lately as we practice social distancing?
Why, yes, I have. I'm just the kind of person who just can't sit still. And so I've been back in the kitchen. I always loved baking, but this has been a really great time for me to start getting maybe a little bit better at bread making and pie baking and all sorts of things like that. So, dear viewers, this leaves us with our question for you. What have you been experimenting with? Has it been cooking or baking or art making? We're going to give you a list of some resources to inspire your experimentation. Look for that coming later. So until next time, please keep your pinkies high and your spirits up.